Hi, my name is Maya Smith, and I'm the e-learning coordinator here at Slcc. This webinar is a part of implementing Slcc's instructional continuity plan, where we give you tips on how to migrate your current face-to-face content to the Canvas classroom. Today we'll discuss building Canvas modules, maintaining academic integrity, facilitating classroom discussions, accommodating students with disabilities from a distance, technical support, and then I'll do a live Canvas demonstration of some of the features that I'll discuss with you today. So the first thing we want everyone to keep in mind is that remote instruction is not at all equal to online learning. Quality Matters has put together a remote instruction checklist for us, and these bullets here that you see on the screen are a reflection of how you build student success into your online course. So while we're not expecting you to have impeccable course quality within these next couple of days as we shift to a remote learning style, we do have some really quick, easy ways for you to start building with your students in mind so that your course design in some ways reflects a well-designed Quality Matters course. So the first thing you want to remember to do is always provide clear instructions. Just as if you were standing in front of your students on the first day of school and telling them everything that they should expect for your class, then you can do the same thing right inside of Canvas. So make sure that in everything that you do, you provide clear instructions for your students to follow. You should also explain communication expectations. How often do you plan to give feedback and how often should they expect to receive it? How we should be communicating with each other, such as good etiquette examples with online communication. You would also want to explain to students how they should expect to access their grades. Are you going to be grading everything only in Canvas? Because remember, in a face-to-face course, they're probably looking forward to receiving a piece of paper with your handwritten comments on there. So explain to your students what that will look like, whatever it will be. Make sure that you're communicating any relevant changes to your course. Are you guys going to continue to meet at the same time on the same days? How are you going to do that? Are you going to be using a video platform? Do you plan on using or making sure that people are online at the same time engaging on Canvas? So just explain whatever changes you're planning to make for your course and communicate those changes with your students at the very beginning. You also need to be able to provide information on technical support. So many faculty have already expressed that they're interested in integrating more technology into their classrooms so they can provide and continue the instruction that was already going on in the face-to-face course. Well, implementing new technologies into the course requires that students understand what type of support they have using those new technologies. So before you introduce any technology, make sure you gather up all the tech support information that you need and disseminate the new technology as well as the support for those new technologies to your students at the same time. You also want to make sure that we're providing student support information, including and especially accommodations for students with disabilities and compliance information for digital content. So we'll talk about these things in as much detail as possible. And we'll start with how to build Canvas modules. So a few months ago, the Distance Ed department built an SLCC course template. It was originally designed for adjunct instructors who didn't have time to make a faculty training and learn how to use Canvas. So we came up with a quick fix where they could just have a course already set up with some student support modules already in there, as well as a designed homepage where all you had to do was edit your contact information rather than building everything from scratch. So I'll be able to show you where to find that information, how to download that into your course, and then additionally we'll discuss how you add course files and how to create some module items to build your course in Canvas. Maintaining academic integrity in face-to-face courses has always been a concern at SLCC, but now that we're moving to the remote environment, we know that's bringing more concern to our faculty. So here's what you can do to assist your students with maintaining their academic integrity while completing your course this semester. So Respondus is a lockdown browser. It's already integrated in Canvas. This means that if you have a test, if you create a quiz or a test inside of Canvas, you can have your test require the lockdown browser in the settings, and students won't be allowed to take your test unless they download the Respondus lockdown browser to their own computers and have access to Canvas to take your course. So already you don't want to impose a new technology such as this one if you're not sure about what type of technology access your students have at this time. And even if they do have laptops, it's still necessary to make sure that your students are not using Chromebooks, because the lockdown browser is not compatible with Chromebooks. So if you plan to use Respondus, the idea is just to remember to let the students know everything they need before you impose such a technology. And if that's the case and maybe one or two students can't do that, you need to be able to be flexible enough with yourself and with your students and give them alternate ways to complete your assessments. Grammarly is a subscription that our school pays for, and it's complimentary to you as a faculty member as well as to your students and staff. All you have to do is go to grammarly.com and sign up with your SLCC email address, and you can unlock premium features including spell check, grammar checks, and plagiarism checks. So that's a really good resource for your students at no cost to them, especially if they do a lot of writing in your course, for them to use Grammarly to check their papers before they get a chance to hand them in. Facilitating classroom discussions is another main concern of faculty who are migrating their courses from a face-to-face format to online format. There are ways to do that in Canvas. Canvas allows discussion posts. They're very easy to create and get creative with. And if you decide to use a visual platform, you can host visual virtual conferences in Webex or Big Blue Button. Both of them are currently integrated into Canvas for you, and they're a good option if you're interested in hosting virtual class meetings at the same time that they're already being offered in a face-to-face format. Accommodating students with disabilities is another concern when we are considering shifting from face-to-face instruction to remote or online instruction. So the process for students receiving accommodations through our Disability Services Office is the same. They still must self-identify with the Counseling and Disability Services Office through email at cads@solac.edu. Another way to accommodate students with disabilities in your remote classroom is to use closed caption on any video content that you upload or live stream. So with that, YouTube does free automatic closed captioning, but you need to check those closed captions, the closed caption transcript, and make sure that the words that are listed in the transcript are actually what you say. Sometimes YouTube messes it up. If you're planning on live streaming any content, you need to accommodate your live stream with something like lecture notes, or if you can find any live streaming closed captioning software. I'm not familiar with any, but if you know some, by all means, use what you're comfortable with. You should also be providing audio and alt text for any images that you provide inside of your course to accommodate any students with disabilities. So in PowerPoint, you can record audio on every slide, which explains the content or expands on the topic a little bit more than what you just see on the screen. Also, alt texting images is a really good idea for any visually impaired students who have screen readers. The screen reader will read the alt text. text in place of the picture. Make sure that when you're using alt text, it's not just the name of the file, especially if it's a really long randomized number and letter order. So you don't want it to have a file name. You want it to say, this picture is of 4 blue squares, and then each square depicts a person, or and so forth and so on, similarly to what the picture is that we're looking at on the screen right now. Technical support for you and your students is really, really important at a time like this, especially when people are thinking about integrating more technology. Though it's not necessary to integrate more technology, if you feel like it'll be a fit for you, just make sure that you're providing technical support at the same time that you implement a new technology platform. So for instance, Canvas has a 24/7 help desk where you can call or chat with a Canvas representative anytime, day or night, morning, noon, weekends, holidays, and so forth. So make sure that you share the technical support option, the help feature in Canvas under the global navigation menu with your students, since you're going to be using Canvas more often. Email is another technical application that many students are still not using. SLCC email is managed by our IT department, and if students have questions, or yourself, you or your students have questions about their email address, how to access their email address, you can always check the website at itsupport@solac.edu, and you can also send them an email at itsupport@solac.edu, so you can submit a ticket that way. Cisco Webex is a fairly new platform, but SLCC's IT department administrates that application. So any questions about Cisco Webex can go to itsupport@solac.edu. However, if you have any questions about how that integrates with Canvas or any issues while you're in Canvas, I may also be able to help you with that. And the Canvas support email, our local Canvas support email, is slcc canvas support at solac.edu. So for either one of those, between the the SLCC Canvas support solac.edu email, the IT support at solac.edu email, and the Canvas help within the Canvas help menu, those are all ways that you can support yourself and your students as you use more technology. Miscellaneous is up here because it's important for you guys to remember. I can't stress enough that the things that we are sharing with you are not requirements in any way. And if there's any other platform that you're comfortable with or more familiar with, confident with using and sharing and teaching your students with, by all means, use that technology. We don't have, we're not in a position to restrict what's most comfortable for you at this time, but you also need to be able to provide technical support for yourself and your students at that point. So with that being said, you may find this really awesome platform, but if you're not familiar with how to provide the support, it's probably not a good idea to implement into your course. So next, we're just going to go through a quick demonstration of a few things that I want to show you in Canvas. So this is my training sandbox. If any of you have attended my faculty trainings, you've been in here before. This is where I make any change I feel like it. The first thing I want to show you, though, is not necessarily the training sandbox. I'd like to show you how to access the SLCC course template that I mentioned to you. And basically, you just go to solacc.edu, our homepage, click on Academics, click on Distance Education Online, which is our Distance Ed webpage. Then under there, you want to click Canvas and then Help for Instructors. So from here, you can see the course template for adjunct instructors. Go ahead and click that. And here's a list of instructions on how to import this module into your course. I'm going to show you how to do that live, but just in case you forget, you can always go to that Canvas menu under the Distance Ed page and go to Canvas Help for Instructors and expand the course template for adjunct instructors instructions. So from Canvas, we're going to go straight to the Commons. That's where the course template is housed. In the search bar, we're going to type Slcc course template. 2 courses will appear. Go ahead and click the one that was uploaded by me, Maya Smith. From Commons, you can see some previews of the information that's listed in there, a couple pages, and such. You can see the details of the course. You can see the purpose of the course. But what we're interested in is the ability to import or download it into a new course. So you can either search for your course here. So if I start searching Canvas training, then that's what's going to show up for me to use. But if I want to use all my courses, I can also just check all here. Or of course, I can also do individual courses, whichever ones float my boat. Then you would click import into the course and wait a couple minutes and go into your course, your live course, and it's there. It'll be there waiting for you. So I already have a copy of this course. We're going to go here to the Slcc course template, and this is what it looks like. So the home page is already designed and it's prepared for you to import or input your content information here. It doesn't look like I have any options for office hours here, but you can add that right here on the home page just by clicking edit. And that's where you type your information and then you'd save it. Under the instructor modules, you'll see some unpublished notes that you should not publish at all. And it has some information for you here. It'll tell you, give you some quick tips to get started. All of these hyperlinks link to a spot inside the Canvas guides. So the first thing you may be interested in adding to your course template is some assignments or pages or any files, how to build your course. How do I add assignment types and such? This page is a good reference for you to follow as you decide to build upon your course. And I'll show you how to do some of those things in a little bit. But I also want you to know the Canvas instructor guide. The instructor guide will give topics. It's arranged by topics in alphabetical order. And under each topic, there are tasks that you can complete and questions that can be answered. And as you can see, it's many, many, many pages. It's full of anything that you could think of that could happen in Canvas. So don't be shy, use the instructor guide. They have really, really nice, doesn't really matter what I pick, really, really nice screenshots and step-by-step instructions, some highlighted parts on the screen for you to look for, and each tutorial is set up just like this with their respective content. So don't be shy, go browse the Canvas guides. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna go back into my training course so I can play around a little bit and show you some stuff, some really cool stuff. Now that we know how to get the template in there, that's less for you to do for yourself. Let's go in and add a module. So I played around in here when I did some webinars a little earlier. Let's just go ahead and keep adding to this 11 a.m. webinar. So I added the webinar, it went to the bottom. It's not published. Let's go ahead and publish it. We added a discussion here. In our discussion, we added a video and an image as well as some text. And I'll show you how we do that just by editing what's already here. No, maybe I should start a new one. Let's go back to modules. We'll add our own. We're going to add an item to our modules. Let's go ahead and add a discussion, a brand new discussion. We'll call it recorded webinar today so we can find it. And add the item. There it is. Whenever you add something to a module, it shows up at the very bottom of that module you added to. There's no content in there, but if we click on the name, Here's where we can edit the screen, and all the magic happens right here in this rich text editor. So here's our recorded webinar discussion. So let's say our topic is building modules. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and I can ask a question. We want to let Canvas use our camera and microphone. Allow Canvas to use our camera and microphone. And you can see here, I don't have my camera on, but the mic visual is showing my speech here. So you know it's working. And start recording. Hi everyone, let's discuss the steps to building a discussion prompt in Canvas. Tell me or explain to me how you go about adding a discussion module into Canvas. Reply below. You can reply in text, PowerPoint, or you can upload your own video. I look forward to hearing your responses. Thanks. Finish the video. We can save it. Let's see. You can save it as building modules discussion prompt. Save, and there it is. It'll appear here. So it's not ready yet. It won't be ready until we add it. If you had chosen maybe to insert a video instead, let's go find us a YouTube video. I'll show you how to embed a video already posted online. Let's see. This looks kid friendly. Whoa, that's not kid friendly. We'll look for the share, embed code, copy your embed code, highlight it, right click, copy it, close it, and we can close that there. You'll go to insert or edit media and click it, click on embed, right click and paste your code and press OK. So there it is. Your video is embedded right there in the discussion. You can also add images to your discussion. You can find images that are already in your course if you've used something before, or you can upload your own. In order to do that, you want to click Embed Image, click on Canvas, click on Course Files, and in order to use something from your computer, go ahead and upload the file. Here's a nice picture. Let's double click on Canvas Guides, and here is where you alt text. Remember, you take away all the extensions or any odd characters inside the alt text and make it something readable, make it words. 180 by 131 is a little bit small. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Let's try 700. It's probably too big, but we'll see. Press update, and there's your very extra large 700 by 509 image. If it's too big, you guys, all you do is click on it, it'll highlight it and grab it by the corner and resize it. You can also move it around. It doesn't have to stay exactly where you put it. It'll even mess up your text if you put it in the wrong spot. Let's see. Click, hold, and drag. And wherever you see your cursor is where it's going to be. You can also center it if that matters to you. If you highlight everything, just like in Word and center, all that's going to go to the center like that. The video won't do that, but the other options will. So that's quite a bit of information for us to do our discussion prompt. Also, you can add a file. So maybe you have a PDF or some type of article that you'd like your students to review in order to help them with their discussion. Go ahead and add it and just make sure that you put those instructions here somewhere in the rich text. Don't leave this blank. If you want them to read something, say, read the attachment to this discussion. If you want them to view the video, tell them, view the video below and answer the discussion question. So view my video, view my recorded video below to discover your discussion prompt. Whatever you decide, just make sure that you tell the students. That's part of that building student success into your course. You can allow threaded replies. You can customize this however you'd like. I think grading discussions at this point is a really good idea. The more points you get for a discussion, the more likely your students are to complete it. Something I forgot, let me go back and edit, because if you're adding an assignment where a student needs accommodations, you can specialize those accommodations for your student. I apologize, I don't have any students in this sandbox to show you, but when I clicked add, it'll give me an option to add students, and the students will show up in a list here. So if you have a student on your accommodations list, you can give them additional time or a different due date to submit their assignment. So I think that's important when it comes down to making sure our content is not only ADA accessible by making sure that we're alt texting our images and that we're using closed captions on our videos, but it's also important to make sure that they are given the accommodations that they require to be successful. So we'll save and publish now that everything is done. And now our students can see this. Let's see if our video plays. Mhm. So there's your response for your students, or your discussion prompt for your students. Super simple, easy peasy, right? And you can do this anywhere you see a rich text editor, not just in discussions. You can find that in announcements. Video announcements can be really, really effective. All you do is click on announcements from the left side of your screen. You can add an announcement and the rich text editor pops up exactly the same way it did in your discussion, and you have all the same options here. As a matter of fact, using announcements, we're gonna cancel, we're not gonna save. Using announcements in your course is a really good way to keep your students engaged, or to address all of your students at one time. So keep that in mind too. Don't ignore announcements. Let's talk about quizzes. Many faculty members aren't quite sure of how to build a quiz. So all I did was click on quizzes here on the course navigation menu. Then you'll click add quiz, and then you can build your quiz. We'll name it. I think it's very important that you name all of your content. For one, it makes it easy for you to find, but it's part of building success for your students. It makes it easy for them to find the content too. So in our case, we have a very generic message, just recorded webinar. But what if you have a recorded webinar for every week for the rest of the semester? You don't want to name them all the same thing, and it might not be efficient to name it recorded webinar 1, recorded webinar 2, recorded webinar 3. Use the topics that you're discussing. Maybe I should just name it recorded webinar quiz, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're doing a recorded webinar. Maybe your topic is the essence of World War I, or whatever, depending on what your content in your course is. So this is where you would put your quiz instructions under the details tab here. Tell your students anything that you would tell them in a face-to-face course. You have 50 minutes to complete this 50-minute exam. Good luck. Or whatever you would say, put it all right here. You can do it again as a video. If you have recorded a lecture and maybe you've already uploaded it to a video platform such as YouTube, you can pull it down and embed your video. So there are ways to kind of keep the engagement going. I think the more that your students can see you, if you're going to be able to use video content in your course, the more they can see you, the better it's going to be. They won't think that maybe it's a robot or somebody else answering their questions. They'll know that it's their instructor that they've already grown to know over the last few weeks. So moving forward, you can make this a graded quiz, I'm assuming, and depending on where you put it in this group determines the graded weight. I don't know if anybody's going that far, but if you're weighting your grades, it does matter which assignment group you put your quiz in. You have the option to shuffle answers. You can make a time limit. We do recommend at this point, since we're doing remote instruction, especially if you're not intending on using Respondus Monitor to disseminate your tests, then you should probably do shorter quizzes in short amounts of time. So a 10-minute quiz with 10 questions in it, you're good to go. And there's not a whole lot of time to have an academic integrity infraction if you only have 10 minutes for 10 questions. Either you know it or you don't. Again, you can assign to everyone or add someone who may need some extra time, and then you save it. You don't save and publish it yet because there aren't any questions. So you go back to edit, and then you go to the questions tab. And here's where you start building questions. Add a new question. Our question is, what's today's date? You can make it multiple choice where there's several answers. You can add another answer if you've got more than 4. So if you got 10 different options for your students, you can do that there. You can do true and false, and it's already made for you. The correct answer always defaults at the top. If you want to change it, you have to click the little arrow in front of the correct answer, or what you want Canvas to say is the correct answer. You can use fill in the blanks and essays, but Canvas doesn't do a great job of grading those on its own. So where the multiple choice and true and false questions or even matching questions are really going to be helpful with grading, it's going to save you a lot of time because you're going to select those correct answers and then Canvas can grade for you and automatically upload grades into the gradebook for you. It's not going to do that for fill in the blank or multiple fill in the blank. So whatever you put as the answer in those options, then you have to go in and grade that because Canvas is case sensitive and it will also count every character. So if you use a space and your student doesn't, it's going to be a problem. If you use a capital letter and your student doesn't, then Canvas is going to mark it wrong. If you use I think you get the picture. I was thinking of something like a symbol in Canvas and your student doesn't use the same symbol in Canvas, then it's going to mark it wrong. So just be aware of that when we're trying not to add extra work on ourselves. So here's our quiz. It's ready. You can preview it. It is unpublished. I didn't publish it yet. What's today's date? True. Submit the quiz. And I got the answer wrong. So this is when you allow students to see your answers right after. The other thing I forgot to show you guys is how to change the question value, the point value. You click edit and then you enter your points. And then save and publish. So now your quiz is published. It's ready. If a student takes it, the answer is false, submit the quiz. It's done, it's graded, and my answer is correct. Good job. So you would do this for however many questions you need. So you can see where doing a 100-question quiz would be an issue for you, unless you have a little bit of time, or maybe you can build up to a really big quiz over the rest of the semester. So you may not want to do 100-point quizzes or 100-question quizzes every week, because that's going to be serious labor for you. That's quizzes. Let's go ahead and add our quiz to a module, because remember we made the quiz, but we didn't add it to anything. So your students can't really see it unless they know to check for quizzes over there. All you'll do is add in the module, find your quiz, and here's our recorded webinar quiz. Add the item, and there it is. So Canvas can be really simple. The more you use it, the more familiar you'll get with it, and the easier everything will be. It's very intuitive. Let's go ahead and look at conferences, which is the big blue button. So we talked a little bit about adding discussions in the course to continue the conversation, but big blue button and Cisco Webex are also available if you plan on using synchronous web meetings. That might be a good idea because you can schedule those meetings. So you'll see I scheduled some already. To start a big blue button conference, all you do is click the add conference button. You want to make sure you have the correct duration. Maybe you don't want a time limit. It's important that you have over enough time, because if you don't, big blue button's going to shut down the whole meeting right at the time limit with no warning. So be aware of that. Our name is recorded webinar, sticking to the same theme. And group lecture or a class lecture, let's see. It'll automatically invite all course members, which is good. But if you ever need to use it for anyone else, oh yeah, I did add some teachers in there. You can pick and choose which instructors or teachers you want to add. I won't update it because I don't want Big Blue Button to send them a message, because it will send them a message. But you'd invite all course members, and then it'll close. And when you start the conference, it's going to look like this. It would say recorded conference here. Then you click the start button and your conference will begin. Let's see if I can open one that didn't have any. It might still have students in it. I'm not doing that. Just know that you have to end. Yes, end the conference. Here's my concluded conferences, and this is where they shall stay until they automatically disappear in about 14 days. Let's go to Cisco Webex. Remember I told you it's also integrated into your course. When you click on Cisco Webex, you need to sign into your Webex Teams with your Slcc email address. Right? Remember, you have the multi-factor authentication, so make sure that you are close to either your cell phone, especially if you chose to use maybe your work desk phone. You may need to change that while we're away. And I like to say, don't ask again for 30 days if I know nobody's going to be on this computer. I don't have to stay signed in. I don't use this very often, but you might. So Cisco Webex Education Connector is requesting the following. I'm going to go ahead and accept. So here's where all my students are in my class. And Cisco Webex is giving us some issues today. On this screen, let me see if I can show you. I'll try to search while I have everybody's attention. And you can see me do a live search. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see, what am I looking for? Education Connector. That's what the platform is called. Education Connector for teachers. What do you know? It pops right up for us. Learn how to use it. This is a great resource. I'm going to write this down and send this, guys, to you. I'm going to send this to all of you guys so you can take a look at it. So it tells you how to create a space, how to send messages, how to share files with your students. And I believe that's in the, is this in collaboration? It is. Once you accept the different services that you'd like to use, I believe it's collaboration, virtual meetings, and office hours, then these are the steps that you follow to perform whatever service it allows you to perform. So this is pretty cool. Virtual meetings, information is here. How to use office hours is right here, and it tells you how to set everything up. Set the meeting duration, set the appointment buffer, select the days of the week and the time. So these are step-by-step instructions for how you can use Cisco Webex in your course. I do recommend that you set up Cisco Webex first without trying to make a meeting with your students if possible. If you need me to help with that, go ahead and send me an email at the Slcc Canvas support at solac.edu, and I will get to it and help you out as much as I can. Being that this is new for all of us, I am so interested in it because it looks really, really cool. And I'm not going to lose that tab. Well, you guys, maybe I already set this up. There's a virtual meetings tab here. There are virtual office hours here that I haven't set up yet. This is the setup screen that I saw before. Maybe because I have students in this class now or other people is why I'm able to see these other tabs. But if you've attended a different webinar, you saw that we only had set up in analytics. So we're going to play around with this feature a little bit more. By all means, you play around with it as much as you'd like. I don't think I have anything else that I need to show you guys, but if y'all have any questions, just know we're going to be posting up some appointment slots for people to fill out through the rest of the semester. So if you need us, we'll be available to you. Just give us some time to set all that up so it can be organized, and then you know what to expect once we organize it and make it a real smooth process or a real smooth flow. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your time. If you guys need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to make this unexpected interruption the most seamless, flexible process possible for you and for our students. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day.